Welcome to the MGM Resorts Main Event Championship game. All part of ESPN's Feast Week, presented by Lowe's. This is T-Mobile Arena in Las Vegas, Nevada. Late night hoops coming your way. It's the Pac-12 versus the ACC. Number 21 Colorado trying to stay undefeated at 4-0 against a surging Clemson team, which has won 5 straight. Here's what the bracket looks like. In the opener a couple days ago, Colorado held Wyoming to just 15 points in the first half. They pulled away in the second. And Clemson went on a remarkable run, we'll tell you about in just 1 second, to knock off TCU in overtime, 62-60. Earlier tonight, TCU beat Wyoming. Welcome courtside, everybody. Tom Hart alongside Andy Kennedy. 3 days in the desert and great basketball. And what a turnaround for Clemson. AK, they were down 15 with 7 minutes to go. They went on a 15-0 run to force overtime.
They thought, hey, this game is over. Clemson with an incredible surge down the stretch, led by their big guy inside. Amir Sims was outstanding, distributing the ball. Tevin Mack, the post-grad, with a season-high 22 on 5 made threes. And there's that guy driving, making plays, finishing at the rim. What a comeback by the Tigers.
Al-Amir Dawes hit some big shots late in overtime. He only had 8 points in the game, but key buckets late as Clemson was able to surprise and outlast TCU. So the celebration carried Clemson all the way to tonight, and that carries them into a game against the undefeated Colorado team, which has some stars of their own, including Tyler Bay, who nearly messed around and had a triple-double the other night.
Incredible. 19 rebounds. Him and his front court mate combined for 32 rebounds. Incredible. He's a matchup nightmare. Very, very active on the inside. Plays over the top with his quickness and his length, and he is always pursuing the ball.
Career highs in boards and assists to show you how rare a triple-double is. There have only been 3 in Colorado history. David Harrison had 2, and Chauncey Billups had the other. Can he put together another superb performance? It might take one of those to take home a championship. Number 21, Colorado, matching up with Clemson from Las Vegas. It's late night hoops. Coming up next. ESPN's exclusive presentation of college basketball is brought to you by Lowe's. Hurry in for Black Friday deals. Do it right for less. Start with Lowe's. College basketball late night from Las Vegas. We've already had one major upset. Stephen F. Austin just knocked off number 1 Duke. First time the AP number 1 has lost 3 times before the end of November. How about that? Maybe we'll have another thriller here tonight. Tab Boyle's the head coach of the Colorado Buffaloes in his 10th season as the head man in Boulder. And he's won 75% of his games against non-conference opponents. 23-win program last year. Brad Brownell has been at Clemson the same amount of time. He, too, is in his 10th season. Clemson program that lost in the second round of the NIT last year. He is the second winningest coach in Clemson history. Both of these teams trying to end long losing streaks against the opposition's conference. Colorado's lost 5 straight to the ACC. Clemson has lost 7 in a row to the Pac-12. So about ready to go from the MGM Resorts Main Event Championship. And wait till you see the championship trophy. We'll show that to you in just a few minutes. Amir Sims coming off a double-double, 13 and 12. Will jump center against Tyler Bay, also a double-double, 11 and 19. Colorado knocked off Wyoming. Clemson in overtime surpassed TCU. Tigers with the ball to start. This is Al-Amir Dawes.
Both teams last night, Tom, really struggled out of the gate offensively. We'll see who can catch an early rhythm in this championship tilt.
And an early 3 from Kayvon Moore. He didn't have a bucket in 14 minutes. And the game's on Sunday.
Both teams stressing paint touches. Clemson gets one there off the bounce. Penetration leading to an open 3.
Loose ball, and then a slice down the lane and a bucket for Deshaun Schwartz.
He was the MVP Sunday. Remember, it was 15 all at the half. We were thinking, are you kidding me? And Schwartz came out in the second half, ignited Colorado to an easy victory.
Weren't sure if they knew how to score the basketball in the first half on Sunday. One injury note for you. Clemson will be without Chase Hunter tonight. The freshman from Atlanta played 15 minutes in Sunday's game, but he's been bothered early this season with a foot injury. So a hit to the backcourt depth for Clemson. An air ball shoved up by Kayvon Moore.
Great defensive possession there by Colorado. Clemson could get nothing going. Ended up taking a bad shot at the end of the clock. Now turnovers are going to lead Clemson to an advantage break.
4 on 3. Tigers dump it inside, and Amir Sims gets his first bucket. Low returnee for Clemson. Major roster turnover for Brad Brownell's squad.
Amir Sims had a monster game in the semifinals as well. 13, 12, and 7. He too flirted with a triple-double.
And that came after he didn't score in the first half. So all of those 13 coming in second half and overtime. He's a big who will shoot. He just didn't make last time. 1 for 7 from deep. Dalen Koontz is able to get inside.
That's added offense. If you're a Colorado fan, this young man coming into the game is shooting 17% from the field. It's nice to get offense from a guy who has struggled early in the season. Good ball reversal. Both of these teams really well coached, are going to move the ball, not settle. As I say that, he shoots an air ball. That's expert analysis right there.
Well, you know, Sims just 1 for 8 from 3 in this event. Here's Koontz.
Yeah, great drive by Koontz. As I said, young man has struggled putting the ball in the basket. Good, strong left-hand finish.
I mentioned Tyler Bay with the double-double to go with 6 assists the other night. He got off to a really slow start in that game. You could say everybody did for Colorado, but he really took control in the second half. Here's Schwartz on the side of the backboard. Did somebody leave a door open?
And that's hard to do for a left-hander in the right corner. I mean, that shot was about 3 feet off if you do that. Good offense right there. That's where he's best. Play in the post. He's an excellent passer. Extra pass. John Newman, who I thought had a terrific game defensively versus Desmond Bain to put Clemson in a position to battle for this championship.
Evan Batty, big center for Colorado, commits his first personal. And he'll put Amir Sims at the free throw line.
Amir Sims has gotten off to a good start. The exception of shooting the basketball, not to his standard, but a young man that really can help in a number of different ways. It's 2 for 16 entering this game from 3, but he's a guy that averages close to a double-double. And if you remember, in the semifinal comeback, he was the guy initiating offense from the 5 spot off the dribble.
Colorado got off to a poor start against Wyoming. Only 15 points in the first half. 1 of 9 from deep. Good news standpoint, they were able to hold Wyoming to the same number, 15. Kayvon Moore commits a foul. It's his first, and first on Clemson.
Inline OB.
There's Tyler Bay for 3.
The special teams of college basketball, can you manufacture points off your inline out-of-bounds situations? Great call, great execution from Colorado leads to an open three-pointer.
They, a junior from right here in Las Vegas. Mack gives it up. Sims will try it again.
2 for 17 now, and it looks good. Obviously, they're running action for him to get that pick and pop in the naked corner, but he has struggled to knock it down early in his junior campaign.
Kayvon Moore commits his second, and so he'll have to take a seat. He's replaced by Curran Scott. What do you do as a coach when you run good stuff for a guy like Amir Sims, but they're not going in? You keep running it?
Yeah, you know, and if you're Brad Brownell, obviously he knows his personnel, as you see Clemson settling back into this 2-3 zone. And so Amir's probably making them in practice. Again, it's small sample size, but he certainly struggled from distance early in this season. Stroke looks good to me.
Here's Schwartz. Had that one closer. Sims will put it on the floor this time. Wow, wild shot high off the glass.
That's where I really like him. He is athletic, he is strong, and he is fearless off the drive. And as we saw in the semifinal comeback against TCU, he's an excellent passer with 7 assists in that outing. That's where I like to see him, attacking the basket.
Tevin Mack commits a foul. It's his first. It's already the third on Clemson. Tigers have a 2-point lead on the Buffaloes. Amir Sims is seeing the offense run through him. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. That one a circus shot.
I'm sorry, Mark. You weren't winning anyone. Make some noise for our winner, Roshana. Mark, I'm sorry. You were outnumbered. Neither one of you guys goes on.
Zubin thinks what makes that so rare, and the numbers will back this up, it's Duke, with their non-conference scheduling, they typically don't play a whole lot of great non-conference opponents in their own gym. They'd rather travel to the Garden, or they'd rather travel to, out here to Vegas, wherever it is. Stephen F. Austin was a big-time underdog. It's one of the biggest upsets in college basketball. 27.5 points, and the largest upset in at least the last 15 seasons.
Well, people that follow college basketball understand Stephen F. Austin has been good for a long time. Kyle Keller, congratulations to him. If you remember, Brad Underwood was at Stephen F. Austin and had a miraculous run, which led to Oklahoma State and now ultimately Illinois. Kyle Keller was on Billy Kennedy's staff, Texas A&M, and he has continued to do a great job with that program.
So Kentucky has number one, lost at home to Evansville, and now Stephen F. Austin going into Cameron Indoor.
Great action right there. 5-out ball screen, slipped the screen. Tyler Bay off to another impressive start. He likes Las Vegas. Hometown boy.
Yeah. Here's Tevin Mack trying to find his rhythm. He leaves it short.
Mack has gotten off to an incredible start. His Clemson career, shooting 45% from three, making almost 3 3-pointers a game in the first 6 games this season. I'm sure Colorado will be very conscious of where he is at all times.
He went 5 of 10 from deep in the win against TCU. Here's Gatling with a nice pump fake. And didn't have anywhere to go with it. Out front, Kerr and Scott. And Scott's able to finish.
Both these teams really stingy in the half court. This is going to be a huge factor, Tom. Who can score in the open floor? A little alliteration.
Working on that?
Late night Vegas. It's going to be a huge key, though. Who can get easy baskets such as that? That's going to be a travel. Mishandled it, but a great back cut. 5 out you see here, Tom. Both of these teams excellent in the half court with their player and ball movement. Bay with the slip and the finish. Good court awareness by Tyler Bay.
3 turnovers for Colorado. Clemson hasn't turned it over once. They're really good at controlling the ball. Their turnover rate outside of steals is just 6.5%, one of the best in the country.
Another paint touch off dribble penetration by Amir Sims leads to an open 3. This time John Newman cashes in.
First bucket for Newman.
Hello, Newman.
I have a feeling you were just going to shout that no matter what.
You know what? It just came to me. I'm an instinctive guy.
But Colorado push off inside.
We saw this.
Second batting.
We saw this all last night, Tom. Amir Sims off dribble penetration. Obviously, 4s and 5s are having a difficult time staying in front of him. He's got great vision, excellent passer.
I know that there are no clocks in Vegas, but there are calendars. I'd like to remind you that today is Tuesday.
Is it?
The first games were played on Sunday.
Have I misspoken?
Perhaps
the first time ever.
Today.
Yeah, perhaps.
It's easy to do here. Hunter Tyson on the floor for Clemson. Tyson forces it up, and Bay got a piece of it.
He certainly did. Had his mind determined to shoot that prior to the catch.
Lucas Seward.
2 guys just checking into the game. Feels like leather. Let it go.
Teams have combined to go 2 for 10 from deep. 7-footer Trey Jemison gives it over. First turnover for Clemson.
Little different passer now with Sims on the bench. You bring in Jemison, who I've known a long time. Recruited him out of high school from Hoover High in Hoover, Alabama. Not quite as polished a passer in the post. Hence him throwing it down the hallway, that last possession.
Hallway was open. Dallas Walton has entered the game for Colorado. Only played 5 minutes in the Wyoming contest on Sunday. Here's McKinley Wright, fantastic point guard, and the dish outside to Daniels for 3.
Love the action. Drive, drift. Well-schooled team. Anytime you get a baseline drive, you need to have someone opposite corner. They knew exactly where they were supposed to be and knock it home. A team that comes into this game time shooting over 41% as a team from behind the 3.
25th best rate in the country. Well, they've struggled from 2. And a near save. Nice effort by Kerr and Scott. 14-12, Clemson with the lead on number 21, Colorado, on a beautiful night, late night, out in the desert. Lead on Colorado. We're in T-Mobile Arena. You know, they have a lot of UFC fights in this building, and so this is the MGM Resorts main event championship belt that's going to go to the winner. This looks great with your blue deltas.
Does it not? Mama said knock you out. Yeah. Good luck getting this through the metal detector.
I mean, this is fantastic. So we've got 2 left standing after TCU and Wyoming played earlier today. It's Clemson and Colorado. This would look really interesting in a trophy case.
Yeah. Who's wearing that home?
Oh, it'll either be Brad Brownell or Tab Boyle. I think it might end up in a manager's duffel bag before this thing is said and done.
Let me tell you something, though. This is a great opportunity for a quad 1 or quad 2 victory in the month of November.
These are not only 2 teams looking for quality wins, but also conferences, right? I mean, Pac-12's off to a really good start today. Arizona State, by the way, behind Remy Martin, survived at Princeton today. Martin had 33. Sun Devils needed a buzzer beater to get out of New Jersey with a win.
Well, we both know if you mess around with Remy Martin, typically things don't end well. Terrific player. Had an outstanding career at Arizona State. And these games are super important. You know, even though both teams are trying to figure out who they are from an identity standpoint, it's a work in progress like every team this time of year. As I said, this is a quad 1 or worst case quad 2 opportunity against a Power 5 conference on a neutral site. This will hold weight in March if your season unfolds the way that both these programs are hoping.
7-footer Jemison commits his first personal. He'll take a seat. And Amir Sims returns. Colorado team picked to finish second in the Pac-12. They returned 95% of their scoring. They won the Pac-12 tournament in 2012. They never won the Pac-12 regular season. In fact, they haven't won a regular season conference title since 1969.
Clemson with a good zone possession defensively. Coach Brownell has gone to that zone pretty early in the game, because I would suspect because of the Tyler Bay matchup, and it's been productive for him early.
Brad Brownell, known as a defensive-minded coach, and he's had some great defensive teams, but this is a team that scored 80 points in 3 consecutive games for just the 3rd time since Brownell's been there.
Amir Sims making a play at the end of the clock. Colorado also very good defensively. Amir Sims with good court presence, understood he was under 5 on the clock and got a fortuitous bounce, much like you on the roulette table.
I'll take them all. Seawer goes back rim, and it's rebounded by Tevin Mack, who has yet to score tonight after a 22-point performance on Sunday.
Colorado's done a good job again recognizing where he is at all times. He's only taken 1 shot, and it was a very difficult one. But that guy, we have seen that this entire tournament. He is tough to stay in front of, big, physical, and finishes very proficiently.
Nobody picks up Shane Gatling on the other side. And Gatling able to answer. Sims with 10 points in the first half for Clemson. He didn't score in the first half for the TCU win. An area of concern this season for Clemson will be at point guard. They were besieged by injuries, losing Clyde Trapp to a torn ACL right before they went on the road to Italy, and Jonathan Bear as well. Here's Amir Sims.
Yeah, you see shot clock at 2, aware of the clock. It's a fortuitous roll, but this is when he's at his best. Catch it, high post area, one bounce to his strong hand with the ability to finish.
The last foul was on Maddox Daniels, and another free throw coming for John Newman III out of Greensboro Day School in North Carolina. Four-star recruit, 3 consecutive state championships at Greensboro Day.
This is the 4th free throw made for Clemson early in this game. They're a group that does not get to the free throw line very often, shooting under 65% as a team, and they only average 10 made free throws per game, so they're being aggressive and being rewarded with that.
So they average, I'm sure my math is right, no, not to hit on 16, but they average 10 free throws and 10 threes a game. That sure is an odd combination.
Welcome to the world of analytics.
Knocked away by Curran Scott.
Zone has been very effective. Sorry, Tom. Zone has been very effective, very active.
Why is it the right matchup against Colorado?
Well, I think because they have a matchup issue as it relates to guarding Tyler Bay. In the man-to-man, he's gotten free in the zone. They have covered him up fairly well.
Bay swings it to Gatlin. Colorado not having luck from deep, just 2 for 7. Little leaner goes, first bucket for Tama Mack. He's the kind of guy that could have just opened a spigot.
Yeah, no question. He is a heat check mentality young man. That's a difficult shot for your first of the game. A little floater on the run from about 8 feet. Back to the man, and guess what? They go right to Tyler Bay. Good double, but you better stay with a double because he is going to continue to attack you.
He didn't get the whistle he wanted, but they get one underneath after the shot.
You know, they initially tried to give him a double. And Curran Scott bailed on the double, allowing Tyler Bay to try to spin back to the middle. But he is at a size disadvantage when Amir Sims is his defensive matchup.
Sims will come out for at least a moment. Trey Jemison re-enters. Fran Brownell had some words with Curran Scott after that possession.
2-3 zone, inline OB. Inside out, great ball movement by Colorado. Now you attack a closeout. Again, another paint touch off dribble penetration. Leads to a layup attempt.
And they're going to get Jemison with his second. Much of this man, Brad Brownell, can only shake his head and fold his arms. Tyler Bay trying to get it going for Colorado. They trail by 8 at the under 8 in the first half. Quarterfinals of the Bad Boy Mowers Battle for Atlantis from Imperial Arena in Nassau, Bahamas. Top-ranked teams include 6th-ranked North Carolina, number 8 Gonzaga, number 11 Oregon, and number 13 Seton Hall. All games available on the ESPN app. Which of those are you looking forward to the most?
You know what? I think as I look at that, you're talking about 6 potential NCAA tournament bids coming out of that field. I can't wait to see Seton Hall and Oregon in the nightcap. You're talking about 2 teams that are off to terrific starts, talented personnel. Wow, is Powell? Wow, is he good?
Score.
Yes, sir.
Score.
Tyler Bay struggled from the free throw line in the second half last time. And now Bay missing the first, some Vegas native. Big fan of Von Miller, played his college ball at Texas A&M.
Von Miller. Pretty good player.
Super Bowl MVP. Probably came with a championship belt, everything.
Little 2-2-1 here after the made free throw. Saw it last night, or 2 nights ago, excuse me.
Time flies
I am in a time warp. We saw it Sunday against Wyoming. Forced a few turnovers.
Sims going to keep shooting. Now it knocks it down.
What a start by him. 13 of his team's 25 early. He is picking up right where he left off. He was dominant in the comeback against TCU, and he has been dominant out of the gate in the championship.
Colorado can't figure it out against the Clemson zone. They're now 2 of 8 from three-point land.
You remember, I think it's a huge key, the 2 early fouls on Evan Batty. He had 13 rebounds. He was the beneficiary of a lot of interior passing between he and Bay. And with him not on the floor, this Colorado team, as you look, is a lot smaller and not nearly as effective in the paint, where they were awfully good in the semifinals.
Sims, size advantage, out to Newman. And it's rebounded by Amir Sims. Back out to Tevin Mack. What is the answer for Colorado against the Clemson zone?
Got to get. I'm sorry, Tom. You got to get the ball to the high post. You got to play high post and short corners. That is the weakness of the zone.
Now they're going man.
My assumption would be anything that's going to miss, they're going to transition back into man-to-man, or makes or dead balls. That gives them an opportunity to set up in the zone. But I think Colorado is living too much on the perimeter versus the zone. You have to penetrate the zone defense in order to create some scoring opportunities.
The foul on John Newman. He thought he got it clean. And it will send Deshaun Schwartz to the free throw line. Out of Colorado Springs, Sand Creek High School. Schwartz was second team all-conference in the Pac-12 last year. They came on strong late in the game, especially late in the season, I should say, especially from behind the arc as Kuntz returns.
He was terrific in their semifinal victory against Wyoming, 12 points. Spurred the offensive output where they got to 41. Remember, first half they only had 15, but he got them going early in that second half. They need him to step up, especially with Beatty out with foul trouble and the attention that Bay draws in the half court.
From the 2-2-1, Clemson solves it, and they get it in front court, and Tyler Bay picks up his first.
It's an unnecessary foul. Good drive by Newman, but he is a left-handed player. He's going to bring the ball right back to you. A little bit of a touch foul.
John Newman III.
They thought Tyler Bay came down on his shooting hand, earning Clemson another trip to the free throw line. Valuable trips for a team that does not get there very often.
Newman's been great from the free throw line early in this season. Clemson team, which started its season on November 5th. Conference game, first time since 1966 they opened against a conference opponent. Yeah. Colorado opened against a conference opponent, but that was in Shanghai when they took on Arizona State.
Clemson's only loss to this point against a really good Virginia Tech team. Upset Michigan State yesterday in Maui. Got beat today by Dayton, but not a bad loss. Nor would this be for either one of these teams, but an opportunity for a quality non-conference win early, and those are so very valuable.
The lead for Clemson is 10. And they gave it right back.
Miscommunication is going to lead to an open floor free throw opportunity. That's like you and me. Sometimes you zig when you're supposed to zag. Tevin Mack obviously going to cut through. His point guard, Alamir Dawes, really good player, just checks in, throws it to the other team. Now you give Colorado free opportunities, and Clemson's done such a great job in their half-court D.
The foul's in Curran Scott, not on Dawes. You see Colorado's lost 5 straight to the ACC. Last win came against Wake Forest in 1991.
Yeah, we were trying to think who would be on that Wake Forest team. Is that a Rodney Rogers Wake Forest group?
Could very well be.
Because it was pre-Tim Duncan. I would assume it was pre-Randolph Childress. Or with Rodney Rogers.
Might have even been before.
Yeah, it might have been before
Rogers.
him. Yeah, you may be right.
Dave Odom coach team, right?
Definitely. Another turnover
by Colorado.
Back-to-back, inadvertent foul. Send to a 1-and-1 opportunity, so Colorado's defense is allowing them to get some easy points from the free throw line. They are also a team that does not get to the free throw line very frequently, and despite their ability to shoot it from three, they are just over 60% as a team from the free throw line. Surprising.
Moore with his third personal foul. By the way, that Wake Forest team in '91 had 4 NBA players. How about this? Rodney Rogers,
I was
Randolph Childress, Chris King, Anthony Tucker, and the actor Mark Blucas.
What did he start in?
Yeah, both got it. I'm good over here.
That's how you Google everything.
He was at the Mirage last night.
It could have been. Everything's been a mirage the last 3 days.
Amen.
Deshaun Schwartz has another free throw coming his way. Want to use every bit of the rim.
Get your money's worth. Allows Colorado to set up their full court pressure. It's the man-to-man sort versus the 2-2-1 that they showed us earlier.
What are they trying to accomplish? What's the difference between the two?
Well, I think they're just trying to put ball pressure on Clemson. That guy's not bashful. I think they're just trying to put ball pressure, trying to throw Clemson out of their rhythm. And they've had 3 consecutive empty trips, so it is working. Here comes a double.
And a reach-in on Newman. It's his second.
Yeah, just unnecessary, a little over-aggressive. We've seen it from both groups. They're going to play through Bay in that mid-post, and he's exactly where he needs to be. Amir Sims is supporting in the middle. Newman comes baseline side, which is the way in which they double in the post. Just too aggressive, again, sending Colorado back to the free throw line already in the double bonus.
Brad Brownell's team trying to hold on to this 5-point lead. Tyler Bay at his 20th career double in the opener in Shanghai against Arizona State. 10th 15-game span. Preseason first-team all-conference, and Colorado's put together a 6-0 run to close within 4.
All from the free throw line, which frustrates you as a coach because you want to make them earn it over the top. It's really started with their ability to defend.
Bay wants it. Dangerous entry pass, and it turns into a foul on Amir Sims.
Back to the free throw line goes Colorado, a chance to go on an 8-0 run, all from the stripe. I don't like the angle of the pass. Put a little air under it. Fortunate in a 50-50 scenario to get back to the free throw line with an opportunity to cut this to a 2-point game.
It's what Tyler Bay is good at, 11th best in the country. He draws nearly 8 fouls per 40 minutes played. He knocks down 2 more, and Colorado extends its run, now trailing by just 2. It's an 8-0 run.
Clemson needs offense right now, and I would go through Amir Sims. He has not touched the ball in the last 3 to 4 possessions. He is your best facilitator. You see here with a high ball screen dive, it'll end up 4 around 1. They play through him in the mid-post. That's what they needed. Missed a bunny, but a good offensive possession.
And then a couple of shots for Hunter Tyson, who will now go to the free throw line. That one's on Lucas Searer. It's a 27-25 lead for Clemson, but Colorado's on an 8-0 run to make this thing interesting. E-Trade halftime report. Zuba Mahente, Seth Greenberg, and LaFonso Ellis will continue punching the clock. They got a lot to break down, including the battle for Atlantis and Georgia-Michigan State highlights. Freshman Anthony Edwards had 33 in the second half. He ended up nailing 7 of 16 threes. Georgia went from down 28 to a 2-point game before they lost to Tom Izzo's Michigan State team. Cassius Winston, by the way, in that one, 23, and 8 assists. How good is this Anthony Edwards guy?
He's got all of the physical ability in the world. With every game, he is going to get much-needed experience. People don't realize he should be a senior in high school. He reclassed up. He's only 18 years old, and I believe he turned 18 recently. He's physically a freak of nature. He can get his shot at all 3 levels. Tremendous, tremendous prospect.
Hunter Tyson at the free throw line, sophomore from Monroe, North Carolina, out of Piedmont High School. Tyson's got his first point. He had 2 points and a board. in the previous game for Clemson against TCU. And now Clemson shows a little press.
Yeah, made free throw. Now he's going to go 2-2-1. Back to this 2-3 match where they've been very, very effective. You can see a lot of good communication on the perimeter, just matching up. You got to give that ball to Bay in the high post and let him work. Now go to work. Great penetration pitch.
Got him in the arc, and so that'll be on on Sims. It's his second.
Yeah, that's a big foul. Unfortunate. He was in the arc. Left heel, hovering above the block charge arc. And guess what? Colorado back to the free throw line. They have not made a field goal in quite some time, but they cut into this margin, doing what we see right here.
It's been over 6 minutes since they made a field goal, but Bank is open at the free throw line.
A team that does not get there often. They're only averaging a little over 12 made free throws a game, and they have already made
13.
So, again, added bonus if you're Colorado to be able to stay in the game despite not having made a field goal in over 6 minutes.
Here's Dawes. He was anxious to get one up, and now Lamir Dawes hits his first bucket.
That's a tough shot. You know, that young man had some huge plays down the stretch against TCU in the semifinals on Sunday. He is a gamer. Tough shot right there, made it look easy.
Bay walked with it.
Yeah, didn't establish a pivot foot. Ray Nutella, you're not going to pull that off in front of him. Set play, penetrate. Amir Sims screens down, setting up that open look for Dawes. Cashed it in. I like Clemson's offense much better when 25 has the ball. He just makes plays. He can get where he wants because he is so big and so strong, and he is an excellent passer.
2 free throws coming after this foul from Lucas Seward.
Got a matchup he liked. Oh.
Maybe not.
Yeah, maybe not. I think that was a bit of a bailout. Amir Sims had spun himself into a bad angle. Tough degree of difficulty on the finish. This has kind of been a cheap game, a few cheap fouls here and there. Different than the semifinals where the games were much more physical. The players and coaches have to adapt. They have been consistent on both ends. And as a coach, that's really all you can ask.
5-point Clemson lead. Colorado's failed to find the rhythm in the half court without the trips to the free throw line, as you mentioned. Tyler Bay's only made field goals of 3. Seward throws it in.
He's a guy that has not shot it well in T-Mobile Arena, but coming into this tournament, or coming into this game, 42% from 3, and you can see why. He snaps it off clean and quick. Big basket there for the Buffs.
Devin Mack's been quiet. He wanted it back. Mack started his college career at Texas, then Alabama. Here he is down the lane, and Bay got a piece of it. And Bay took a shot to the jaw trying to get out of traffic. Here's Schwartz into the lane. And McKinley Wright hesitated before he put it up.
Yeah, unfortunately, he didn't catch it clean. That was a great penetration and pitch. The receiver bobbles the ball. I'm not sure you should shoot it if you don't catch it cleanly.
Devin Mack only has 2 points here in the first 18 and a half minutes.
Colorado's done a really good job of not allowing him any freedom. Everything's been contested. Mack's got to work harder away from the ball. He cannot give in to the fact that Colorado is tilting the floor in his direction. Got to continue to work off the ball in order to get your opportunities. You're the Clemson leading scorer.
He's only 1 for 5, and they get a foul on Tyler Bay, which is Bay's second.
Fouls everywhere. Batty picked up too early. We have not seen him the entire first half. Bay now with 2. Amir Sims with 2. Key personnel in this championship battle. You certainly don't want those guys to pick up a third, and both coaches have taken Sims and Bay out of the game to avoid just that.
So here's Tevin Mack, a South Carolina native, who originally committed to Shaka Smart at VCU. When Shaka went to Texas, Tevin followed him there as Bay takes a breather. He won't come back in the last minute of this half. Mack was the leading scorer for Texas as a sophomore in just 15 games. Ended up leaving the Longhorns after a couple suspensions and ended up playing at Alabama. Now grad transfer with Clemson.
Big last minute. That's the use it or lose it timeout.
Kind of like the last few bills in your pocket at the Vegas airport. Use them or lose them. A doubleheader starts with the Nets taking on the Eastern Conference leading Celtics at 7 p.m. Eastern. Then Anthony Davis and the Lakers take on the Browns' former team, the Pelicans, at the Smoothie King Center in New Orleans. Both games on ESPN and the ESPN app.
Anthony Davis homecoming.
How do you think he'll be received?
Probably not overly supportive.
Probably not.
But I think it has already been confirmed. He made the right decision. LA with the best record in the West early. LeBron James' character's a pretty good player.
Yeah, he's not bad. He seems to be extra motivated this season for some reason.
And those two together are a dynamic duo, much like Tom Hart. Yours truly.
Yeah, never heard of him. Maddox Daniels with his second triple. It's a one-point game.
Colorado needed that. Been a while since they had made a field goal, much less a three. Out of a timeout. Give Tad Boyle and staff credit. It was that use it or lose it. They used it to draw something up against this zone. Simple, but it looks awfully good when the ball goes in the basket.
And on the other side, Brad Brownell is going to take that last $5 in his wallet, put in the slot machine at the airport. He's going to use his timeout. Got to set something up.
That's right. Point,
Veteran
counterpoint.
Staff.
Look at those numbers. 10 years each.
Brownell, the second winningest in Clemson history. Boyle, the second winningest in Colorado history. He's got 6 of the Buffalo's 10 20-win seasons in their history.
Done a tremendous job. I have known Tad and Brad for a long time.
That would make a great sitcom, wouldn't it?
You know what?
Put Tad and Brad in the same apartment. Maybe Dick Bender's staying in the garage out back. I'd sign up for that show.
Oh boy. I'm sure you would.
Colorado goes zone.
Overload to a throwback to your best shooter. Great job by Colorado of running him off that three. But Courage Scott with the tough 2 pull-up. Last shot time. Last shot time if you're a Buffalo.
Coach, check the clock. Daniels on the left side.
Oh, you got to go. You got to go.
It's at 1, and White fires and left it just short. Clemson with a late bucket to extend their lead. A generally comfortable first half for the Tigers. Great job defensively. 3-point lead for the Tigers. Halftime here in Vegas. After the break, it's the E-Trade halftime report with Zuba Mahente, Seth Greenberg, and LaFonso Ellis. From beautiful Las Vegas, where Clemson holds a 3-point advantage on Colorado after the Buffaloes feasted at the free throw line. 13 of 14 from the charity stripe. Not much charity elsewhere out here. Tom Hart alongside Andy Kennedy. How do you break down what you just saw in the first half?
Amir Sims continues to impress. He closed the game in the semifinals on Sunday against TCU very impressively, and it has been the Amir Sims show in the first half, showing you complete versatility. 14 points, going in, going out, terrific passer, terrific facilitator, and finishing very efficiently.
Sims with 2 personal fouls. He played through it, and he finally knocked down a deep shot. Meanwhile, on the other side for Colorado, we didn't see much of their center, number 21, Evan Batty. Tyler Bay led him with double figures in the first half, but Batty picked up 2 early fouls. He only played 5 minutes. How does Colorado change with Batty in the game?
Well, I think if we saw in the first time we had them on Sunday, they are both Batty as well as Tyler Bay are terrific passers to one another in the inside of the Colorado offense. Without Batty in there, it eliminates one of those dimensions. And you see they're going right to him.
And Batty takes it right to the hoop.
Clemson comes out in that zone that was effective for them, but it's different when you have Batty and Bay, as we saw in that first possession.
I'll be curious to see how long Clemson sticks with the zone. They're going to reach in by Schwartz. And Deshaun Schwartz commits his first.
Think about this now. Batty plays 5 minutes in the first half, doesn't get a field goal attempt. He's probably been sitting for 45 to 50 minutes. Anxious to see his impact on this game now that he has re-entered.
Off the inbounds, beautiful shot by John Newman III.
Difficult going right, pulling up to the left. Good execution on that inline OB. And you can tell what Tad Boyle had talked about. Let's get the ball inside. Stop settling versus the zone. 2 possessions, 2 touches to their 4 and their 5. Amir Sims showing the defensive presence on that trip.
Knocked out of bounds by McKinley Wright.
You can tell Sims is bigger physically than Bay and just takes advantage of that. Bay has got to do a better job of facing and using his quickness to create some separation.
Sims has it knocked away. Wright looking for Kuntz. He'll take the pull-up. And an empty trip for Colorado.
Yeah, it's a tough pull-up. Great job again by Sims. Outnumbered 2-on-1 in transition D, but he made McKinley pull up at about 10 feet, which is difficult to do in transition.
Tevin Mack's going to get his, and he forces a 3 that goes in over the top of Schwartz.
First made 3 after making 5 on Sunday night. Welcome sight if you're a Tiger fan.
Here's Schwartz. Great answers.
Great set play. They screened the top of the 2-3 zone, which allowed Wright to turn the corner. Got a piece of the paint off the bounce. Found Schwartz wide open. And as Colorado is known to do, they are going to make a high percentage of open threes.
Mack behind the back, lost Bay, who thought he was shoved. And then underneath, that's a heck of a way to pick up your third. Evan Batty gets whistled for the foul, laying on his back as he took down Sims.
It is a heck of a way to pick up your third. In there battling, falls. Then inadvertently, Sims trips over him. Official is forced to make that call, and now Evan Batty is going back to where he spent the majority of this game.
So 5 minutes in the first half. It's a little over 2 minutes in the second half for Batty. Here's Newman.
And they're a completely different team without him on the floor. Now they're going to be typically spread, 5 out, slipping Bay into that mid-post. They lose a physical presence without Batty on the floor. Man-to-man this trip. Brad Brownell will continue to change his looks. Tough pull-up right there.
McKinley Wright's missed a couple of jumpers here in the early going of the second half.
Clemson's got numbers. They got to move the ball. Do not hold the ball in transition, and you'll have an opportunity. Ball got stuck on one side. Colorado recovers. Now you got to grind through this half-court D.
Seward poked it away from Mack.
Too much dribbling. Too much dribbling. Now you're going to have to take a very difficult shot. Offensive foul. Lowered that shoulder.
It's a third personal on John Newman.
And he was put in a very difficult predicament because of where he caught the ball. About 6 on the clock. He is trying to make a playoff penetration. Good defensive stance there by Colorado. Bay has not touched it in a few possessions, especially man-to-man. You got to go through number 1 in that mid-block if you're Colorado.
McKinley Wright again with a mid-range. It gets nothing. Schwartz hard to the rack, and Alamir Dawes will come out of there with it. Dawes takes it all the way and one.
Ill-advised shot on one end. Keep it alive off your offensive glass. Don't get a good quality possession. Leads to this. Open floor opportunities which are at a premium in a game such as this. Dawes with a very strong finish.
It's a first and Dalen Coach and Alamir Dawes to the free throw line. Freshman from Newark, New Jersey. Clemson's lead is 6.
You've got to go through Tyler Bay if you're Colorado in the half court, most especially when it's man-to-man.
Quick one from Schwartz.
Again, no touch by Bay. Three-pointer off a pin down, high degree of difficulty. Colorado continues to struggle in the half court.
And then Bay gets whistled for the foul, and that is his third. Both Bay and Batty have committed 3.
And don't think he's not aware of the fact that he's not getting touches, and that's a frustration foul, which puts he and Batty in serious foul trouble.
Tyler Bay suffered his third personal foul. He'll come out of this game. He had a double-double with 11 points and 19 boards in the first game of this event for Colorado. It's been a physical matchup here in the home of the UFC at T-Mobile Arena. Took this shot, friendly fire from his guy Seward, and had to plug the drain a little bit later in the first half.
Cut me, Mick. You're trying to get the foul. You can breathe. You got 2 nostrils.
Yeah, what's the problem?
Just divert the air to the right nostril. I've done it quite often. Third foul by Bay is significant. And you can see he's over at the end of the bench talking to himself, which is never a great sign. Especially Marshall Henderson.
Yeah, I saw some guys doing it at the blackjack table today.
But they need Bay to get back in this game and contribute like the best player on Colorado that he is. Colorado goes zone out of the timeout. And guess what? Amir Sims off penetration finds a wide open teammate, Curran Scott, who knocks down his third field goal of the night.
11-3 run for Colorado over the last 4.5 minutes. Who is Colorado's best offensive weapon with this lineup on the floor?
Well, you're going to have to go through McKinley Wright. High ball screen, try to get some penetration.
Clock at 2. Schwartz going to have to heave. Oh, give it to him. They're going to look and make sure he got it off clean, but that came in the face of Kayvon Moore.
Wow, we had a direct line on it. When it left his hand, it looked like it had a chance. From the naked eye, I would say that is good. What do you say, partner?
I agree with you.
Yep, it's good. Wow, what a difficult shot in a time a little closer than I thought when we went to slow-mo. Colorado desperately needs a basket. Wow.
And he's showing that Sam Engel in the building. Still in his hand.
None.
Wow.
Tough break. It was right there. And then Colorado was in such desperate need of offense, especially with Batty and Bay sitting over by Tad.
Deshaun Schwartz was the instigator of their offense coming out at the half against Wyoming. See, Batty picked up his third while on the floor, literally laying on the floor just a few minutes into this half.
If you're a coach, Tad Boyle, as you see both of them making their way to the scorer's table, you can't really worry about foul issues here. They're sitting with 3, not 4, as Amir Sims continues to dominate this basketball game. Back to the basket now as he is showing us the entire package. But I think Tad's making the right call. This thing can get away from you if you're not careful. You're talking about a Clemson team that plays at a pace which is not going to allow a premium of possessions. So you better make a stand now if you want to walk away with this belt.
Amir Sims back to the free throw line. He's got a game-high 16. and a three-point play after the foul on Lucas Searer. And Clemson's got its largest lead of the game.
Back to the zone for Clemson. Bayes at the high post. I would play through him if possible. You've got him and Batty back in the game, which should give them an opportunity to get some offensive rebounds. They had 32 combined rebounds in the semifinal win. Because of foul trouble, we have not seen that same production tonight.
Colorado catches a break. Sims had it across the inline. Tyler Bay trying to fight through the double team.
Yeah, there's just no angle there. That's where he's got to be smart. He's an excellent passer as well. 7 on the clock. Clemson's going man on this inline OB. I'm not sure he realizes they're down to 4-3. Difficult shot at the end of the clock.
Batty on the board, and he gets another one. Both of his makes have come from point-blank range.
And that's what they have missed with him on the bench. He is excellent at getting opposite. 70% of all misses go to the opposite side of the rim. Batty anchors down on the opposite side. 2 that the Buffaloes desperately needed.
Scott can't finish. Here comes Colorado the opposite way. Galling turns it over. Running out front is Kern Scott, and he lost it. And heads, I thought he got it off of Daniels, but Scott was on the end line when he tried to throw it off Daniels' back.
Yeah, per the trail official, Larry Spalding, he said Scott was on the line, which I think he was not. I think that was a miss. 2-3 zone. Clemson. There you go. Now you got to turn and face the basket. Excellent. High-low. Get to the free throw line. If you'll play through that high post, Tyler Bay is a terrific passer. I would like to see him catch White, face the basket immediately, because he has the ability to drive. He is a good shooter in the mid-range, and he is an excellent passer, as we saw right there.
Batty, sophomore out of View Park, California, Villa Park High School. And another one coming his way. He was calling for that one, AK, even before the initial pass got to Bay.
Does a good job of presenting himself in the rim. Big, strong kid, great hands, good touch. As you see, Colorado is a completely different team when he's on the floor. Now he's got to be smart. He's guarding the guy who has been the most dominant player in this tournament in Amir Sims. You cannot pick up your fourth. You're too valuable, so you have to be very smart defensively.
Mack working on Gatling. Tough angle. And Bay's got the board.
Very difficult shot. The step back, one leg in the mid-post.
Rebound knocked out of bounds by Mack after the drive by McKinley Wright.
McKinley Wright got to his spot. Maybe got one dribble too deep. Gets swallowed with guys with size and length. No harm, no foul. Back to an inline, out-of-bounds situation. Looks like they're running a triple for a 3. Big shot.
Shane Gatling knocks it down, his first triple of the night.
Excellent execution. Triple screen over the top to the ball side corner. Colorado does what they have done all year.
Offensive foul on the 7-footer Jemison. Even more impressive considering Batty's foul issues.
This is excellent execution. You can see 1, 2, 3 screens. Strong side corner, rhythm jumper. Bam! We got a game, Tommy.
Officials going to look at that last one after Batty went down. Batty in the game against Wyoming drew 6 fouls in his time on the floor, on his way to 9 points and 13 boards. Watch 55. Shot to the face.
It's inadvertent. Now, it is in the face area, but I can't see that being anything of a flagrant nature. He is trying to post up, present himself. Batty may have made a move down to the old MGM Grand with that acting move, right? You think you could have pushed him down off the craps table if with that movement?
At 262, probably not.
Probably not. Sold it. I don't think that'll be anything other than an offensive foul. Colorado's ball. But the officiating crew is certainly deliberating. Colorado, what a strong pushback. Good run back by Colorado. 2-possession game.
Of the Maui Jim Maui Invitational is set. It'll be number 4 Kansas taking on Dayton, 5 o'clock on ESPN. Also available on the ESPN app. Obi Toppin carrying the load for Dayton. They knocked off Virginia Tech 89-62 today. And Udoka Azubuike had a double-double, 11 and 10 for Kansas, and their win against BYU, 71-56.
Colorado with a strong surge back in this championship bout. You can tell Dr. Mo has shifted to the team in black.
7-0 Colorado run. Clemson without a bucket in the last 2+ minutes. Bay off the back rim.
Good possession, though, out of that extremely long timeout. They got the ball to their best playmaker in the right spot, just missed the floater. Now Clemson needs to find a way to stop the bleeding, and that's how you do it. Got to finish that great drive by Tevin Mack to his strong hand, shoots it completely over the backboard, or over the rim, which leads to 2 points for McKinley Wright.
It's the first bucket of the night for the junior point guard. Colorado's run is 9-0.
4-point swing there, Tom, and just like that, a game in which Clemson has been comfortably in control. That has changed quickly.
Right in the flame, floater no.
He's had a hard time finishing that shot all night.
He's just 1 for 9 from the floor.
It's a difficult shot. He's a very aggressive point guard, strong off the bounce, plays really low. He's having no problem getting it in the paint, and it comes down to finishing the play. Set opportunity here for Clemson. It's going to be a high ball screen. They're going to pick and pop with the man.
Sims had time to tee it up, and he knocks it down.
Wide open look. His second made 3 of the game coming into this. Had only made 2 on the season. But he has been the guy in Vegas. Outstanding close to the semifinal win over TCU, and he's been the best player on the floor tonight.
Batty gets it deep, finds Bay with the jam.
We talked about what is effective versus that zone. Get it in the middle, play high, play low through the short corner. Colorado completely different when they have Bay and Batty together. Now if you're Clemson, don't lose your mind. Continue to go through Amir Sims. Great spin, difficult finish. Looks like he came up a little gimpy.
Yep, having a hard time getting down the floor. No problem for Wright to get down. His shot is blocked by Mack. Out front to Sims. He'll give it up. Hey, almost got it back. Dawes off the mark. It'll be Colorado basketball.
Yeah, Amir Sims, I don't think would have thrown that out to Kerr and Scott if he was not a little hobbled. Great block here by Tevin Mack, showing some versatility on the defensive end. And again, if Amir Sims was not coming off a little bit of an injury in that last possession, I think he goes and finishes that.
Deshaun Schwartz is entered for Colorado. They're back to their starters for the most part, with the exception of being Gatling at the 2.
Looks like Sims is possibly having a cramp. They're hydrating him over on the Clemson bench.
Bay turns it over, taken away by Newman.
They're going to have him in the game in order to close this. Colorado has seized momentum. Amir Sims has really been the deciding factor because he has been so aggressive offensively.
Right, 1 for 10 on the floor. Batty will let it fly. You okay with that shot?
I don't like it.
1 of 2 from deep on the season.
I don't like it. Time and score. You're trying to beat an ACC opponent, capture a championship belt. Do what you do. Get down and work in that block. You and Bay together are terrific. I love him right here. Great pass. Extra. Good look. Good offense, Colorado. And then look what he does. Pursues that ball. That's the way he gets 3 points. Eat off the offensive glass. Use that size, that strength, that touch. Great offensive execution. Started with a batty touch in the low post. He doesn't give up on it. Pursues it. Got a chance to make this a 1-point game, Tom.
Evan Batty at the free throw line. He's been through a lot already in his young life. December of 17, playing pickup basketball. He suffered a stroke. 11 months later, he was able to make his Colorado debut. And Batty makes it a 3-point play.
What a remarkable story. This young guy happy to have a second lease on life, and he is certainly making the most of it. Terrific player. And again, Colorado they look like the 21st ranked team in the country when he's on the floor.
They put together a 14-3 run. McKinley Wright steals it from Mack. And Wright will take it in for the jam. Colorado has the lead.
I think everybody in the gym felt that was about to occur except Tevin Mack. He did not sense McKinley Wright coming to take that and give the Buffs the first lead they've had in a long, long time.
First lead of the night. The Buffaloes on a 7-0 run. McKinley Wright jams it home. And it's Colorado up front with 7:52 to go in Vegas. We continues tomorrow with the quarterfinals of the Bad Boy Mowers Battle for Atlantis from Imperial Arena in Nassau, Bahamas. Top-ranked teams include number 5 North Carolina, 8th ranked Gonzaga, Seton Hall, Oregon. All games available on the ESPN app. And it'll all start with Michigan and Iowa State. Colorado's in a 7-0 run. They have their first lead of the game thanks to a pickpocket of McKinley Wright against Tevin Mack.
Out of a timeout, Brad Brownell draws up a layup. Great execution.
Newman into double figures. He's got 11.
Oh, Newman.
So Bay and Batty are on the bench for the moment. Both of them with 3 fouls, the 2 stars for Colorado.
On the made field goal, Tom, you see Clemson back to the 2-3 zone.
It'll stay with Colorado. We've got a timeout on the floor. 55-54, Clemson in front now. Fantastic ESPN crew tonight. This is the championship game of the MGM main event. Foul trouble for the Buffaloes. Bay, Batty, and Seward each have 3. 7-footer Trey Jemison has 4. Newman and Moore each have 3. So Bay and Batty are going to stay out here. When do you think Tab Boyle brings them back in?
Quickly. Right now, it's a 1-point game. Clemson's going to stay in that 2-3 zone. They're about to have a shot clock violation. In the clock. Got a pretty clean look, and the littlest guy in the gym comes up with the offensive rebound.
Point guard with the board. Let me ask you this. Why not have one of the 2, Bay and Batty, in? Why sit them both at the same time?
That's a good question. He just must feel like, based on his matchups, that he can steal a few minutes, and here they come back in together. So we knew they wouldn't sit long. And we've seen this a lot this year with the extension of the collegiate 3-point line. You've seen a lot of guys step out of bounds in that deep corner.
So Bay and Batty back. They've combined for 21 points tonight. They've been key in this Colorado comeback in the second half.
Yeah, I would have liked to have had one of them in the game on that offensive possession, because possessions are obviously at a premium.
Deshaun Schwartz commits his second.
But Taz just trying to buy a few minutes, which he did. Great downhill drive. You've got to understand scouting. Both of these teams not overly familiar with one another, hadn't played ever. But they got to know that John Newman is left-handed, and he has gotten to that left hand quite frequently throughout the course of this game.
2 on Schwartz. Newman sitting on 12.
Good response by Clemson. Back to this 2-2-1, which typically means they're going to fall back into this 2-3 zone, which Colorado's had some issues. Better in the second half than the first, but a lot can be attributed to Batty being in the game. Gives them another low post score that they have to account for.
Bay gives it right back out to Maddox Daniels. And Bay finds it, and he gets the foul, drawing it from Curran Scott, who commits his third. Gratuitous bounce for the Buffs.
Yeah, and that was all based on Batty. Watch him chase it. Batty's chasing it, gets tangled up with Amir Sims, who cannot grab it cleanly. His counterpart, Tyler Bay, the recipient, back to the free throw line. But that wouldn't happen. That wouldn't happen if Batty's sitting over by Tad, because then you're not wrestling a 250-pound guy. Amir Sims grabs that, and Clemson's going.
Bay knocks them both down. He made his living from the free throw line in the first half. Mack full head of steam.
Tough finish.
Good body control. Batty couldn't challenge, playing with 3 fouls.
That was a very, very impressive finish by Tevin Mack.
Lids on for Wright in the mid-range.
Yeah, he continues to struggle now. 2 for 12 on the evening. The majority of those being in the paint.
Sims.
A little quick in the shot clock. He's made 2 on the night.
Deep entry to Batty. Strong game off the glass.
Terrific rim run by Batty off that defensive rebound. Good vision by his point guard, McKinley Wright. And again, if he catches it in that post area, he is very, very effective. 11 second half points.
That's on Batty. It's his 4th. He's pleading his case. They got him for a hold. It will indeed be an Evan Batty.
He's saying that you see him working there offensively, catches it in the middle of that paint. He is very, very difficult to defend. The official saying right there he was guarding the screener, and as the screener was beginning to roll, he says he grabbed his arm right there. You can see it. He grabbed Amir Sims' arm as Sims is rolling to the basket for a foul and puts Sims on the free throw line.
And they're going to get Batty out of the game after his first free throw. Sims at 20 points. His career high is 23. Made that happen against Mississippi State last year. Seward will replace Batty at 5:15.
And if you're Evan Batty, you just got to be smarter than that. You have completely changed the game with your presence. You have to show the officials your hands so that you can stay in this game.
Big free throw for Sims. They'll drop back in the zone, would you?
Yeah, that's what they're going to do, it appears. They looked a little bit confused, and as a result, they're going to give up a point-blank layup. I don't know if they were. It looked like some of them were in man, some of them were in zone. As a result, you leave Tyler Bay for a uncontested shot at the basket.
Bay's got a team-high 16.
I would be really surprised if they didn't run through Amir Sims. Unforced turnover, but I think we've got a foul.
Gatling trying to chase a loose ball as Mack went sprawling to the ground.
Which is going to put Curran Scott on the free throw line. Right here, you can't tell. It looks as if a couple of guys are matching up man, a couple of guys are in zone. As a result, one rotation leads to a layup.
Hey, 21. 21.
Tevin Mack to the free throw line. Signed with Clemson mid-June. Nice addition for a guy who was playing in the SEC last year for Alabama.
Post-grad. Coming back home. The return of the Mac. Back to the great Palmetto State.
Glad you're not singing that song tonight.
It's too serious, Tom. This is serious. This is serious here. This is a serious game.
Yeah, one possession. That's not a sing-along. Right to Bay.
Great pass.
And he pushes it up and in.
We're seeing some outstanding passing, versatile bigs in this game. Both teams have them. Great decision there by Tyler Bay. And Wright finally gets one to drop in the paint.
They get it deep and it's rejected by Bay.
Wow, is he quick off his feet. Good execution by Clemson at the end of the clock, and Tyler Bay just erases it by being the quickest, most athletic off the floor.
Bay will take it, spins, and he draws the foul.
Fortunate there, Tom. I don't like when you spin to the middle of the floor. You are asking for problems.
It's a third on Sims. That might be an issue going forward. Great recovery by Tyler Bay on one end. He'll be shooting free throws on the other end when we return to Las Vegas. ESPN's exclusive presentation of college basketball is brought to you by Lowe's. Hurry in for Black Friday deals. Do it right for less. Start with Lowe's. Well, this Clemson team has been prone to some droughts tonight, and they haven't scored in the last 2.5 minutes, which has allowed Colorado to hang in there. It's a one-point game with 3:43 to go. MGM Resorts main event championship game. The winners taking home a title belt. Amir Sims is one off of his career high. He's got 22 tonight for the Clemson Tigers.
Boy, he has been outstanding. Really led them out of the gate early. Has made plays late, and he's going to have to make a few more if he's going to pack that belt in his bag for the trip home.
Evan Batty on the floor playing with 4 personal.
Again, a little confused. You hear Coach Brownhill has to scream out zone. A couple of guys in man, extra pass to the corner.
Got it! Big tap 3 for Deshaun Schwartz, and it's the Buffs by 2.
Great ball movement right there by Colorado. Swinging to the extra against that matchup. And they knock down their 7th 3 of the evening.
Sims slips on Batty. Batty playing with 4.
Yeah, you got to be aggressive because you know he can't challenge. Did not plant that right foot and go strong. Batty really smart. Got to be smart there. You can't set a blind back screen.
McKinley Wright draws a foul. He'll be going to the free throw line. It's the first in Alamir Dawes.
Right here, Clemson in the 2-3. Tevin Mack was going to bump. We call that a bump, where he takes first pass on the wing and then bumps down to the corner. A little slow on the rotation. Ball moved faster than he could. And Schwartz knocks down a huge shot in a big, big game for both teams.
Colorado's made each of its last 4 field goal attempts. And now McKinley right at the free throw line extends the lead to 4. To 7-0 Buffalo run.
I would continue to attack this matchup. Batty's got 4 fouls. If I'm Tevin Mack, do not settle.
He settles for a 3. And he back rims it. Bay got fouled on the board.
And you basically bail out Batty. You've got an advantage. Take him off the dribble. He's got 4 fouls. Get to the line. You're in the bonus.
We talk a lot about clock and score awareness in the college game, and sometimes players unaware. How aware are players of opposition foul trouble?
I don't think as aware as you might think. You know, listen, Tevin Mack is a guy And he is much more comfortable in that pull-up jump shooting range than he is attacking off the bounce. He has not been overly effective in the paint. He has only attempted coming into this game 6 free throws in their first 6 games. So he is a jump shooter. So he went to what his comfort level was. It was just not the right play based on that matchup.
9-0 run for Colorado. The lead is now 6. Remember, Clemson Sunday went on a 15-0 run to close regulation.
That's going to be blocked, and he's done.
Batty fouls out with 2:19 to go.
And that completely changes Colorado on both ends of the floor. They had a chance a couple of times earlier to put him in this position. He is late, easy call on the block. An and one opportunity that Amir Sims doesn't cash in on, but now he can get this back to a 4-point game from the free throw line.
And Sims, the wise move to go at Batty, whereas Mack didn't on the possession prior.
So now you lose a rebounder, low post scorer, and you bring in a guy who is capable from 3. So if you're Clemson, you have to be aware of that. That's why personnel is so vitally important. Understanding the scout. Completely different makeup of player enters once Batty exits with 5 fouls.
Sims misses the second. He's tied his career high with 23. Here's pressure from Clemson. Wright solves it. Seaver almost walked with it. Good decision now. The clock is your ally. It'll be man-to-man for Clemson in the half court. I think you got to go through Tyler Bay. And he's got an finally gets it to him. Great pass. He is such a good passer. Now you're late in the clock. You go to the smallest guy in the gym under the backboard. Newman fires early. Got it! Big time 3 for John Newman. And you got to give a lot of credit to Alamir Dawes with the advanced pass in transition. Smart play by the freshman. And Newman has had an outstanding game. And so Colorado will use the timeout. You talk about what a great pass it is, but how about the awareness? You really want to get it to the 6-footer underneath? Yeah, just, again, and they were playing so late in the clock right there. That freshman made the right play, and that's the right shot. Rhythm 3. He's had a terrific game. Newman now with 16 on the night. Am I correct there, Tom? Sounds good to me. Got him 16 with a pair of threes. Wednesday night, it's a championship game of the Maui Jim Maui Invitational as part of Feast Week, 5 o'clock Eastern ESPN. Also available on the ESPN app. Dayton blew through Virginia Tech today, handing the Hokies a first loss of the season. Obi Toppin for the Flyers, part of their attack. Toppin in the quarters against Georgia had 25. Against the Hokies had 24 and 10 of 14 shooting. He's in over 20 points in all 5 games this season for Dayton. Anthony Grant, the Dayton Flyer alum, back home, doing a tremendous job in that program. One of the best basketball jobs in America, in my opinion, because of their fervent fan base, their rich tradition. And Obi Toppin is a guy that is quickly moving his way up the Wooden Watch list. Evan Batty is found out of this game for Colorado. 11 points in 17 minutes of action. He only missed 1 shot from the floor and was perfect at the free throw line. The Buffaloes trying to stay undefeated, holding on to a slim advantage at Clemson. And the Tigers just got a big 3 from John Newman. Huge play. Now you're looking at about a 3-4 max possession game. Anxious to see, will they go to the 2-3? Or will they go man-to-man if you're Clemson here in the half court? It looks like 2-3, which has been somewhat problematic. But now you've got 5 guys in black uniforms that can stretch you to the 3, so you're going to have to be extended if you're Clemson in this zone. Tyler Bay needs to flash to the center of the zone. Looks like they're going to try to screen the interior of it. Gatling fires. That was halfway home. They were trying to overload the zone, Tom, and they didn't do a very good job of it. Difficult shot.
Good rebound, Taylor.
From distance. on that possession offensively for Colorado.
Brad Brownell uses a timeout. Both of these programs trying to end long losing streaks against the opposition's conference. Colorado has lost 5 straight against the ACC, and the numbers for Clemson are actually worse. Don't play the Pac-12 very often. Last time came 2012 against number 8 Arizona, and the last win came against Oregon December of '88. You had hair then.
Yeah, and bounce. I had a little bounce, too. I could get up out of this chair much easier, I assure you. All right, I gave you Rodney Rogers for Wake in '91. Who you giving me for Oregon in '88?
I got nothing.
Oregon in '88. Wow.
Oh, I don't know.
Big opportunity here for Clemson.
Richard Lucas do anything for you? Or Greg Sr.?
No, they do nothing for me. No offense to those guys if they're watching. Hopefully they are.
Frank Johnson, 29 against Chicago State that year. I remember that one.
I know one thing. If I'm in a Clemson jersey, I've got to make sure 25 touches the ball.
Newman, nearly an air ball.
And they were trying to get him downhill. Colorado did a good job. Lived to fight another day. Just pitch that ball. Tough shot. And your best player doesn't touch it. Putting more pressure now on your defense. Tyler Bay has to flash to that high post where he can make a play.
Bay hiding on the baseline block.
There he is. If you late in the clock.
Shot clock at 3. Schwartz, left hand, too strong. Mack with the board. Clemson down 2 with a half minute to go.
Try to get something in early offense before Colorado can get set defensively. That doesn't work. So now you're going to grind it out. Brad Brownell will use another.
22.4 left. There's a second and a half difference between the game clock and the shot clock.
A lot of experience on that Clemson bench. Over 50 years of Division I collegiate experience for Brad Brownell on the Clemson bench.
Anthony Goins, Reynolds Dean.
Led by the veteran Dick Bender.
22.4 left. We started the night in Vegas talking about how important this game is for each of these teams once you get to Selection Sunday. Both of these coaches are learning a lot about their squads tonight in this trip to Vegas.
No question. This is very educational. Now, you want to leave with the belt.
Yes.
You want the education and the belt. Big opportunity, and it's going to come down, as it should, to who can come up with a big stop and then who can finish it offensively by making a basket. Clemson, now the ball is literally in their court. You've got a great tactician in Brad Brownell. Again, if I am in white and orange, I am making sure 25 gets the ball. He's been your most effective offensive player all night.
Amir Sims did not get a touch in that last possession and ended up with John Newman, who would hit the big 3 about a minute earlier. Colorado flashed just a little bit of zone, but they haven't played much in their second half. You wouldn't expect them to change that.
I do not. Not in a 2-point game, because you would second guess yourself the entire flight home if you're in a zone and you leave a guy to knock down a 3 to beat you. So I would anticipate man-to-man. And Clemson is a group that typically doesn't get to the foul line a lot, but tonight they have gotten there 20 times. But one thing they have not done well throughout the course of this season is rebound off their offensive glass. So if you're Colorado, you've got to make sure that you do not give up anything but a contested 2, and then you have to secure your defensive glass.
We need everybody to make some noise.
Sims guarded by 23 Searer. Here's
Little screen rescreen for Curran Scott. Oh, he was going to feed the post. Good defensive effort there by Seward.
Clock is at 10.
Oh, he traveled.
Oh, and it's stripped. McKinley Wright ends up with it. I thought that was a double dribble.
I thought he traveled. I thought he was going to get it. McKinley Wright with an incredible job defensively. Quick feet and quick hands right here. I thought we were going to see a violation. All good. Oh, right there, I thought there may be a travel. Official says play on. McKinley Wright says, I got it from here. Give me that ball.
And so Wright to the free throw line. Junior from North Robbinsdale, Minnesota. Champlin Park. He was Mr. Basketball in the state of Minnesota in 2017. Set the school record for points, rebounds, assists, and steals. Newman just couldn't get it in to Sims. Brad Brownell had the play drawn up.
And what's a shocker is this kid coming into the game is only a 50% free throw shooter. Looks clean right there. He'd only gotten there 8 times in their first 4 games. Got a really good stroke. I expect those numbers to go up tremendously throughout the course of the season.
Colorado's a team coming in one of the worst in the country at the free throw line. The lead is 4.
2-possession game. You do not want to foul.
Bay with the rejection. Dawes in and out. And Colorado survives Clemson, and the Buffaloes are taking home the belt.
21st ranked came in as the favorite. Did not get off to a great start early tonight, but what a tremendous finish and what a great win for Tad Boyle and the Colorado Buffaloes.
This was big from Bay.
He is so quick off his feet. He was the second to leave the floor, still was able to get it cleanly and to finish what was a very impressive tournament by Tyler Bay.
71-67 a final. The 21st ranked Colorado Buffaloes are your MGM Resorts main event champs. Fun one here in Vegas. Now you get to continue on to Orlando for you, big fella.
Yes, ma'am. I am now on a red eye to Orlando for another exciting tournament in Feast Week. Looking forward to it, brother.
Feast Week's been fun already. That's going to do it from here in Las Vegas. For Andy Kennedy, our fantastic ESPN crew, I'm Tom Hart. Colorado put it together in the second half against Wyoming, and they came from behind in the second half against Clemson. And the Buffaloes are going to take home the belt. Good night, everybody.